Okay, so in the senior high school core mathematics, we have this concept that is change of subject. That we are going to look at the fraction part. Okay, okay, yes. So most students came to me and told me they still have some challenges uh, on the fraction parts. Yes, that's where most students also have challenges. So we are going to look at the fraction part, and then we shall also look at when it involves radical signs, a square root, a cubic root, and all that. Yes, we shall look at all of them. But in this case, we are going to look at the fraction part. Okay. So, my dear students, kindly pay attention, watch the video to the end, and all that you are finding difficulties. At the end of the video, you are going to get everything. All right, good. So before that, let's follow or let's look at the steps, three steps that we can follow to solve change of subject questions involving what fraction. So in the first step, we are saying that whenever you have the question, what you do is what first find what the LCM of the denominators. Okay, you know the LCM, that's the least common multiples of the LCM or of the denominators. So the fraction that will be given to you, each denominator you find what the least common what multiple. Yes, that is our first step. Then after that, whatever you get for your LCM, you are going to multiply through by the relation given to you or the equation given to you. So you know that in the equation, you'll be given term by term. So you need to multiply the LCM by what each term of the relation. Then finally, after doing that, what you do is simplify. If you have to simplify, you need to simplify them. After that, then you express what the required variable in terms of the others. So when I say required variable, I mean whatever you are asked to make the subject. Okay, yes, you need to express them in terms of what the others. So we'll not waste time. Let's take some few examples and see how we can deal with them. Okay, all right, great. Now let's look at the following examples. So we are asked to express the following in terms of the variable against them. Okay, so you see that each of them, so this one, um, we are asked to be the subject. Okay, good. So you see that each of them, we have all this P, Y, and B. These are what we are making the subject. Okay, so let's take the first example and see how we can do that. Okay, good. So for first example, we have 1 on M is equal to 2 divided by P minus 1 divided by Q, and we are to make what P the subject. So as I said, when you are given fractions like this, the first thing to do is what you need to find the LCM, that's the least common what multiple. Okay, good. Now how do you find LCM of this? So once you have that, you see that we have a fraction like this. um, M is different from P, is different from a Q. So what you do is, because they are different, you just multiply the denominator, and that becomes what your LCM. So it will be like M times P times Q, and that will be what your LCM, because these ones, they are not numbers. We don't know their common what multiple. We don't know the multiple of this, the multiple of this, multiple of this, so we can't find the out common multiple. So when you realize that the denominator, you are not finding their common what multiple, then all that you do is just multiply all of them together. Okay, so it means that here my LCM is going to be M times P times Q, which will give me what? MP Q. Have you gotten that? Good. So after finding your LCM, what do? All that you do is just multiply your LCM by each term. Now you see that this is one term, this is another term, this is another term. So we have 3 terms. So multiply the LCM by each of the terms. So I'm going to multiply MPQ by 1 on M is equal to MPQ by 2 on P minus MPQ by what? 1 on Q. Good. So once you multiply that, then you realize that you have you look at the denominator, each of them, definitely you are going to have one of them here. Then you can cross out. You check here which one is common. P is common, so you cross out. What about this one? Q is common, you cross out. Now whatever is left here is what? PQ times 1, which is equal to MQ is left times 2. And then we have what? Minus what is left? MP times 1. This is what is left. Okay, good. So PQ times 1 gives us what? PQ, which is equal to MQ times 2 gives us what? 2MQ minus this times that gives us what? MP. Since the question asks us to make P the subject, then we have one P here, we have another P, so we can group like terms. Okay, we can keep this PQ and then bring this because we have another P here, so that all will stand alone or at one side, and then we keep 2MQ. Okay, so once you realize that you have one P here, another P here, what do? Because we are to find what or make P the subject. So remember what you did in algebraic expression factorization method. So you just factor P out, and then you have Q minus M. At the end of the day, when you open the brackets, you must get the same. So P times Q gives me what? PQ. P times M gives me what? MP. Great. Then as for this, you maintain it as it is. Then what do? You need to divide both sides by Q minus M. Why am I dividing both sides? Because we are making P the subject. Okay, so we want the P to stand alone. That is why we need to divide both sides by Q minus M, so that this one will go. Then we have our P is expressed in terms of what? 2MQ, all divided by what? Q minus M. You see that? Great. So this becomes our answer. That is what the question asks us to do. Now let's look at example 2. Okay, so for example 2, we are going to look at that. So for example 2, this is what we have. Okay, so once we have this, then we can also find the LCM. So looking at this one, before we can find the LCM, you need to check whether we have what. So you can see that here we have what? Mixed fraction. So we need to first change the mixed fraction to what? Improper fraction. So we still write this again. Good. So how do we change this? Now changing mixed fraction to improper fraction, what you do is you multiply the denominator by the whole number, okay, which is 3, and then add the numerator to the answer you get and divide the result by the denominator. Okay, so this is how it is. It is 2 times the 3, which is the whole, plus the 1, which is the numerator, divided. So you divide the result by the denominator again. Have you gotten that? Good. So that is how we do or we change from mixed fraction to improper fraction. If that is the case, then 2 times 3 gives us what? 6, plus 1 gives us what? 7, divided by what? 2. Good. So once you are able to change every mixed fraction to improper fraction, then you can go ahead and find your LCM. Looking at this one, you have 2 here, we have 2 here. So the 2 and 2 are common, okay? Because they are common, they are the same, so we can choose one of them. But you realize that the y is different from what? The 2. And since they don't have common what? Multiples, then what do? Remember what I said in the first example. Once you realize that they don't have common multiple, then you only need to multiply them to get your LCM. So in this case, our LCM becomes what? So y times 2, because we have another 2 and they are common, they are the same. So we'll pick one of them and multiply by what is not common. So 2 times y gives us what? 2y, and that becomes our LCM. Once you find that, then you are going to multiply each term by what? The LCM. So my LCM now becomes what? 2y multiplying 1 on 2, or because the whole of this is what? One term, and the same, so plus 2y multiplying 1 on y is equal to 2y multiplying 7 on 2. Good. So once you multiply, you realize that we have some common numbers here or variables. So 2 is here, we cross out, and then we have what? Y is here, we cross out. 2 is here, we cross out, leaving what? Y times what? 1. So we are going to then have what? Y multiplying x minus 1, which is equal to or plus 2 multiplying what? 1. 2 times 1 gives me 2, which is equal to y multiplying 7, and that will be what? 7y. Okay, once you get this, now we have this here. What do? We just need to open the bracket. Okay, so y times x gives us what? Xy. Y times 1 gives us what? Negative y plus 2, which is equal to 7y. Now in this question, we were asked to express y in terms of what? X. So what do? Now we need to group like terms. So if you want to group like terms, then I can decide that I will keep the 2 here, write the 7y, and then transpose this and that to the other side. So if I'm transposing, then this one becomes plus y, this one becomes negative xy. Someone can also decide that I'd rather send the 2 here and bring the 7 here. All will work. Okay, so this one it's just grouping of like terms, so it depends on how you want to group your like terms. Okay, I decided to keep the 2 and send this one here because of the negative. Okay, good. So once we have this, then you realize that 7y and y are alike, so I can add them to get 8y. Please remember not to add this one as well, because you may think we have y here, y here, y here, so they are common. No, this one is different from this. You see that there is x here, an unknown variable here, which makes it what? Different from this. As for this one, we know that the coefficient of y is what? 1, the 7, and the coefficient of this y is what? 1. They are numbers, so once they are all numbers and these variables are the same, then they are alike, so we can add them. That's why I added them. okay, to get 8, but we can't add this one, so we'll maintain it as it is. Good. Because we are making y the subject, what do? We have 2 of the y's. So what we are going to do is that we are going to factor one of the y's out. So I will still keep my 2 and then y out. We have what? 8 minus x. Then we can divide both sides by 8 minus x. Okay, have 8 minus x, so that this one will go. Then I have my y in terms of what? X, which gives me 2 on 8 minus x, and that also gives what? The answer. Okay, now let's look at our third example. So for example 3, now this is what we have. So this one, we have the denominator 3, 6, and 4. So we need to find the LCM, and the LCM means we are finding the least common multiple. Okay, so when you find multiples of 3, multiples of 6, multiples of 4, the least among them. So let me find multiples of this for the purpose of this lesson. Because of some of our students, okay, because of some of your colleagues, some of them have a huge challenge, and we need to take our time. So please relax for some of your colleagues, okay. So we need to take them step by step so that each and every one will get what we are teaching. Okay, so I know some of you know the LCM, you can just generate it easily. What about those who can't? So because of others, let's do it step by step. So what is the multiples of, what are multiples of 3? We know that multiples of 3 gives us what? 3, 6, 9, 12. We have what? 15 to infinity. Then multiples of 6, we have what? 6, we have 12, we have 18, and to the infinity. Now multiples of 4, so we have 4, we have 8, we have what? 12, we have 16 to infinity. Good. So let's go through this and check whether we have a list. So list, we mean the lowest common multiple. So multiple, the ones that are common, and they are what? List. So you realize that we have 12 here, 12 here, 12 here, and apart from the 12, we don't have any other number which is list and is common to all of them. So it is only the 12 which is common to all of them. Then we choose the 12 as our LCM, and that gives us what? 12. So we are going to multiply 12 by each of the terms. Okay, so I'll multiply 12 by a plus b, all divided by 3, minus 12 times 2c plus 1, all divided by 6, is equal to 12 times 2b, all divided by 4. Good. Now you realize that we have 12 here, 3 here. So 3 divides 12 how many times? 4. Then I will multiply by a plus b, minus, because when 3 divides this, the 3 will go, so the 3 will not come again. Remember that, because we are saying that you are going to divide this by this. Okay, good. Now 12 also divided by what? 6 gives us what? 2, which means I'm going to multiply 2 by everything. So make sure you put them in brackets so that you don't make any mistake. Okay, great. Like this, which is equal to, now 4 also divides 12 how many times? 3, and I'm multiplying by what? 2b. Okay, good. If that's the case, let's proceed. Now, once you have this, then you need to open bracket. This is what simple what expansion of bracket. Okay, so 4 times a gives me 4a plus 4 times b gives me 4b minus 2 times this is what 4c minus what 2, which is equal to 3 times this gives me what 6b. Now in this question we're asked to express what b in terms of a and c. Okay, so once we are going to do that, then I think we have 6b here, we have 4b here. So for the grouping of like terms, I will decide that I will keep 4a minus 4c minus 2 and then transpose what 4b to the other side. So I'm going to have 4a minus 4c minus 2 is equal to 6b minus 4b. Okay, great. So once we have this and that are alike, so I can still maintain this. Minus 2 is equal to 6b minus 4b gives us what 2b. Okay, then looking at this, you see that we are making b the subject, so we can divide both sides by what 2. Okay, so that the b will stand alone. Okay, so that this one will go. Then we have our b is equal to, now you realize that we have 4 here, 4 here, 2 here, and these 2 they are common, so we can even factor on the numerator. We can factor 2 out. Then we have 2a minus 2c minus 1, all divided by what the 2. At the end of the day, if I multiply this, I must get what is here. So 2 times 2a gives me 4a. 2 times negative 2c gives me what? 4c. And 2 times negative 1 gives me what? Negative 2. Yes. So once we have this and that, we can cross this out. Therefore, our b is giving us what? 2a minus 2c minus 1. And that gives us what? Our answer. That's it. So this is very what? Simple. That is for today's lesson. At least we have looked at how to deal with change of subject involving fractions. Okay, so as I previously said that in the next videos we are going to look at change of subject involving roots, symbols, or radical symbols. Okay, all right, so see you next time. Bye bye.